Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and in this video we are starting the Crushing the Microstakes series over on TonyBet. I've chose TonyBet because I personally really love this site. It's not very often a new site comes along and they are good. And by good I mainly mean the software. But I've loaded 4 tables up quickly, the software is very smooth, everything feels very good. Plenty of game selection, lots of bad players. Everything just feels great, but mainly the software is, what I'm talking about. It's just very quick and smooth and clean and just really enjoyable to play on. So I was really quite shocked and, obviously very, pleasantly surprised that they were this good. So I thought, well, let's do some TonyBet. And of course, at Poker VIP, we always like to bring you the best action games. So when I think there's a soft site, I will show you it. So I'll just bring up the TonyBet lobby quickly alongside these games. You can basically just see they now introduced Hold'em and PLO alongside their open face Chinese. Lots of games, runs up to 510, starts at 2NL. They've got PLO, Singos, tournaments, open face, and of course the casino, like all sites nowadays do. So yeah, just pretty much an awesome site. And we're in a few tricky spots here. I think ace-jack's a pretty easy peel on both tables, and sevens is a fold for his stack size on that table. So yeah, we're going to just basically do a series. It's going to be a 4-parter, and it's going to basically to show you how I approach these games and how we can crush them and how we can make money from TonyBet. So ace-jack, I value bet my straight top left, and bottom right, I'm going to... I was thinking about going large, but I think small is probably better here. Actually, what can he have that really calls me? I guess polarizing my bet is probably the best idea, so I'll go larger. And we get a quick call, and we should win comfortably. Nice. So yeah, currently on 4 tables of 10NL and 25NL. Thought bringing some 25NL into the picture would be a nice idea. Everything very soft, everything very nice so far. Getting bet into here when I've got 3 of a kind. I think I'm probably just going to... Well, I mean, the thing is, I expect him to either be like value betting incorrectly or bluffing, but because I'm out of position, I want to build the pot and be able to lead the river, because I just don't feel like a lot of his hands that bet the turn also bet river once I call, because a full house is very obvious for me to have. So I'm just going to try and get max value. I'm going to go 222 and 377 there, and hope he calls with the overpair, which it looks like he did. Let's see how this hand history thing works. As you know, I like to figure these things out alongside you guys. So that was pretty quick, pulled it up very quickly, and he had aces, yeah, so pretty much what we thought he had. As you can see, lots of options, all the usuals, and you can actually run it twice on here and straddle, so does definitely create more action, that's for sure. I've been playing 10 minutes, I'm already up like 2 buy-ins. I think it's going to be a great series. I'll play some 2NL, 5NL, 10NL, and 25NL across this 4-parter. But anyone who's seen my previous videos, what I like to do is just sit down on the first 4 tables I see in the stake range that we're looking. And the reason I do that is it just shows the different types. I'm not bum hunting. I'm not looking for specific games. I'm not 6-handed. I'm not 4-handed, whatever. I just sit down at the ones running and we adjust to it. No HUD. So, we need to develop reads. We need to watch the games. We need to think, okay, who's a reg, who isn't the reg? And, basically figure out how to do it from there. One thing that is interesting, and you probably have seen on my Unibet series, mainly that I was talking about previously, is identifying people from how many tables they're playing on. So I'm looking at this table and straight away, Varkot is on all 4, 10NL and 25NL. So I'd definitely, just mark him as a reg, Of course he's a reg. He's on all these tables. He's got full stacks. This is probably one of those guys who just grinds and grinds and grinds and probably wins and wins and wins. So, we can note on him, reg. And, it shows up there nicely. And that's all, one very easy way to identify, who a reg is. Also, stack size. So we're looking at this top left table. Look at how soft this table is. If we think, I'm just going to check jam here for, 40 bigs with my double gutter. I think that's pretty straightforward there. Lots of money in the middle. Shame I don't have a spade, but lots of times, yeah. I mean, we've run into sevens and king nine, so we're actually quite unlucky there. Versus the sevens, but I guess king nine blocked quite a lot of our outs. But pretty interesting that sevens overcalls as well. But that's nice. That's good to see. So yeah, looking at this top left table, 568, 447, 534, 339. I mean, that is just like gold, It is going to be very hard for us to find a table with that many poor-looking players anywhere else in the world right now. So I'm very comfortable here. On this right-hand table, we just saw the hand before. What are these guys doing? It's all madness. So I think there's going to be some pretty interesting hands. Going to see about my ace-king here. Don't expect this guy to fold that often, but ace-king might be the best hand a good amount of time. Going to isolate top left and fold top right. And bottom left, I'm still going to lead with my open-ended straight draw. Ace-king, I'm not going to check. Make the nuts-ish on the river with the 5-3. I don't expect to have 7-8 that often. So I'm just going to bet pretty big here and try and get max value from a 9 or an overpair. Sadly, he folds. Ace-king, I think I have enough showdown value to check. And from what we've seen before, I'm probably not going to make him fold much. So quite a rush start there. Generally when I open tables it takes a little bit longer for the action to get heated, but we've got to put in lots of cool spots there, and hopefully I explain them well enough. Any questions and comments please leave below, and of course sign up to TonyBet, get involved. There'll be lots of cool TonyBet content coming shortly. I'm obviously a no limit Hold'em player, but we will also show off the open face Chinese games. And of course PLO, so we're definitely going to show everything that this beautiful site has to offer. I know you guys know me pretty well when it comes to soft site hunting. It does excite me. There's no beating around the bush. This does definitely do things for me. A6 suited, I'm just going to flatten position. We are four-handed. There's a short stack behind, so I don't really want to 3-bet and commit, but A6 suited is definitely strong enough to just flat the button. We also flop a monster here, 50% versus anything at all, pretty much here, if we just aim to get it in. But generally my line would just be to flat, but once he pots it, it can still just be a flat. So yeah, I guess we just assume he's got enough bluffs and he's going to be doing this with draws a good amount of time. So we're just going to call and just, play it slow. Assume we've got the best hand a lot. If we don't, then obviously we can get there in multiple ways, including like this turn, a 3. Would give us the best hand as well. Don't know what he's repping by betting like this. Maybe a set. But basically I'm tempted to... It's an interesting spot because if we think he's bluffing, then we should never fold the river. So we should then just call flop, call river. Or if we think he's got a hand like king, queen of clubs and wants to get it in, we should get it in on the turn. Because if he bricks, then he might not jam the river. The only annoying thing is, of course, is that I've operated the time bank, by the way. You get 60 seconds, which is pretty cool. Ace-6 here, versus this guy who's been pretty fishy. I'm just going to call and call down on a lot of runouts. It's pretty close. It's pretty close to get it in, call. I don't really want to fold the river, so I think I'm just going to opt to get it in now. Just sucks if he does have like a 3 or a set, but we do have lots of outs, and I feel he can just be, semi-bluffing enough times to call it off. So pretty interesting spot, but I guess we just go with it. A6, I make 2 pair, we're just going to jam. Yeah, king, queen of clubs, nice. Yeah, so that made sense. And that's that came purely from experience, of course. A6 we get called, and he shows kings. Interesting. Nice, we're absolutely crushing. That does just come from experience and understanding why people pop bet. And I found a lot of the time weaker players and even stronger players now are pop betting with draws. And I think when we looked at the stack size, when we looked at the board, when we looked at the pre-flop play, flop play as well, it kind of did look kind of indicative of a semi-bluff like that, or a hand he would maybe stack with, even a hand like kings, like these people just go with it. So that's why I wanted to put it in and just to not fold. I didn't want to call to then brick my club, or not improve and then fold. So I was going to call and then call, which is great if we know he's just always bluffing with air, or value betting worse when that's pretty difficult. So yeah, we just went with it. Ace Queen going to be pretty easy call. I'm just never going to fold any river here. Even if he goes all in, I'll probably have to call this. But yeah, river's a call. I expect to see a 5 sometimes, but the rest of the time I think I win or chop. And yes, we do chop. So yeah, like I say, this video has been running 10 minutes, and it's probably had more action than a previous video I've made, so pretty crazy indeed. King 5 suited, I have been 3 bets, pretty close. I think I'm going to go ahead and call. He's been 3 betting a lot, so, going to just start defending a little bit wider versus him, and a suited king's okay to do so. But on this flop, we're going to fold. Maybe a bit too loose. Going to call again versus this center. I don't expect to have that much on this board. And getting 10.5 to 1 here. I think I'm just always going to have to call with my, nutted ace high. Yeah, and he shows ace deuce. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TonyBet. This is absolutely brilliant. I am in my element. Pretty close here between 3-betting and calling. I think I just 3-bet, and if he jams, I'll fold. But having the lead, building a bigger pot with a hand I assume beats him is a pretty good idea. Gonna c-bet pretty small here, half pot. I hope he just folds. If he jams, it would be a fold by me, which is a shame. But I think it's definitely better to c-bet than to check fold, or definitely better than to check call, and much better than check raising. 4-part series. There will be 2NL, 5NL, 10NL, and 25NL. And maybe at the end we'll finish with the bonus 50NL game, which I think will be pretty fun. And that's exactly what I did on my last series, well, my last few series now. Playing heads up here on the 25NL table. Not really ideal because I'm certainly not a heads up specialist. 10-jack suit's pretty close there because of the stack size, but it is what it is. Any good games running? We'll play heads up for a few minutes and see if anything picks up. If not, I'll just change tables, which is easy enough. I'll just drag this to the other monitor. I think this is a good spot to lead on the paired board. Pretty worried about the small blind stack size, but sorry, lead up to c-bet, because obviously there's a lot of good turns I meant. Going to c-bet my gut shot and backdoor flush draw. And I would definitely barrel a good amount of turns and rivers here. We didn't improve here, but I think even without improving, we can still go ahead and bet, because this puts him in a really tough spot with his mid pairs. And he does just go ahead and fold there, which is good. Going to sit out of this top table, because I have another one ready to come in. The perk of having 2 cool monitors. And then you just use this little thing to put you in the seat that you want to go into. Lovely jubbly. Auto post. Yep, everything on. Don't really want to straddle, I don't think, but like I say, that's one thing that drives action. And this is kind of like the Tony G way. He's all about action. And him and his team definitely understand that. 4-7, I think I could just check down here. Don't know anything about this table yet. I've just sat down. This guy's overbet, which is interesting. It's a fold, but it's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Pocket Kings, top left table, could be interesting. Seems to be saying interesting a bit too much. I will stop that. Going to just go for a 3-bet, blind versus blind. Going to keep it pretty small. Just going to go 2.5x there, playing very exploitative style there. Basically, we just don't want this guy to fold, so we could even make it like 40. But yeah, we basically just want to keep it small. We want to get lots of peels. Sadly, we don't though. And it is definitely better to go ahead and 3-bet than to flat, because we want to build that pot. And if these people are stations, then the more money that's in the pot, the more chance of them calling us down there will be. I sort of Jack Deuce suited in position, pretty close pre-flop, but I think fine because it's suited, we're in position and it's 4-handed. C-bet the flop, get a quick call, go check the turn. I think this guy's going to have a fair few queens in his range. and also flush draws, so I'm just going to try and basically hit a straight, essentially. And he leads pot here, which is pretty interesting, and he leads pot very quickly. I can't call with bottom pair. I don't really want to raise, so yeah, this is just going to be a fold. Although I think raising would be pretty cool because it puts him in a super tough spot with like the Queen of Hearts, for example, but I don't think he's going to have that too often. So it's either just got nothing or a bunch. Going to squeeze my 9s there. King 9 suited, I'm going to fold. And yeah, Jack deuce suited, I'm going to fold as well. Well, actually timed out. So yeah, even this top left table, it doesn't look great in the sense of, you know, how much money's on the table. I mean, the thing is though, like all that money there is free money. I actually raised this guy's c-bet on a paired board. I think that's a pretty good play. And then I'm going to go ahead and bet again. Now I build equity. And we back into it. If we don't have the best hand, it's sick. If we do have the best hand, it's pretty sick. So now we're just going to jam it. I hope he calls with like a jack, I guess. No, he folded. Jack 10 here, I think I can bet for value. It's pretty close, but against this guy, it's definitely fine. And yeah, he does muck indeed. Going to just check what he had there. God, I love how quick this all is. Love how quick it all is. He had an 8. He rivered an 8. Interesting. So yeah, he's just a definite station. So, you know, just no station. Value bet heavily against this guy. Ace 10 under the gun I'd normally fold, but you know, on the table of just really bad players, let's just go ahead and you know, open our game up a little bit. King 10 I c-bet on a King 8 deuce. We can just take a check call line there, which I would often do playing like higher stakes against good players, because we basically just control the size of the pot and allow them to just call us down, allow them to just sort of like bet into us with hands that we assume do not beat ours. But in these games, I think we can just straight up go for value with those marginals. Because people like to, you know, float a little bit too much with random hands. People like to, you know, call with second and third pairs a lot more often. So yeah, a very solid session. Looking at the lobby now, a couple of 100-0 games running that look really good. Oh, and a 500-0 game that's running. If a table breaks, I'll pull it up and we'll rail it. I played a little bit of the the 250 NL, 1 1/4, 250 games, which was really fun. Got a couple of videos out of that for social media, but I'll also probably start grinding this site. So once I make a sizable deposit in playing those games, I'll definitely record a couple of sessions. That could be pretty fun. These are the exact, you know, sites that I like to play on. Just super soft, super fun. Being 3-bet here, just going to fold. King Jack, I'm going to bet. This guy limped, I raised 4x, he called. I think he, well, to be honest, I'm surprised he folded there. Most people just like to call. So I would have barreled there, or maybe even just thought about check calling with like King High. But I think barreling is probably better. So the main hand that was interesting so far this video was, of course, the Ace-6 of clubs versus King Queen hand. So comment about that, ask questions about that, do whatever you want. And also these following ones, if anything is of interest, please again talk about it. 10s here, just nothing I can do. The guy's got 27 bigs. It's just a very easy all-in, 5-handed with 10s. It's not going to be crushing him because 10s is obviously a borderline kind of pair. That can be very vulnerable. But for the amount of blinds, being at 5-handed and being that he is a weaker player, then we've got to go with it. Going to 3-bet a 4-5 suited from the small blind versus button. Calls pretty quickly and we get a pretty terrible flop. I'm probably just going to check give up here. The reason I check give up here, well, it's a very wet board. He's going to have lots of king queens, king jacks, ace jacks, jack queens, 8-9s, pocket 7s, pocket 10s, pocket jacks. You know, he basically just hits this board really hard. And when people hit boards really hard, then we should probably think about just giving up. You know, yes, we do have like nothing there, which is a good reason for betting. But it's kind of like betting into the oblivion is how I like to sort of like call that. Because it's just one of those times we're not really going to see a good return. on our money. Going to raise the ace queen for value versus this poster. I think he posted. I think he blind posted because he just joined the game. So yeah, I mean, either way, if he limps or blind posted, it's the same thing. We're going to go ahead and raise for the same reason, which is value. 7-9, I open the button, I half-pot c-bet the flop, something that you see me do a lot and something that just has an incredibly high success rate that makes it just incredibly profitable. I really am saying incredibly too much. I do apologise, but it's true. Ace-deuce here, we could even just fold pre-flop, I guess. I don't want to raise this kind of hand as an ISO out of position versus under the gun with a short stack directly behind me. So it kind of comes down to calling or folding. So I might have to look into that a bit more, see what some of my friends think about. It's a spot that doesn't really come up that often, of course. So it's not that big of an issue if we do get it wrong, but it would be nice to know the answer. Let me know what you guys do below. I think calling's fine, just because of obviously the wheel opportunities. And if he does have an higher ace, then, you know, ace-deuce type flops, 3-4 type flops are good for us. King 4, just going to check my option here. Would lead a fair few boards, but this isn't one of them. This is just a very easy fold. 9-4, what happened? Did I check the flop? I'm surprised I checked the flop. I think when I check the flop, I have to call a turn, even though I have a very bad hand. I should bet that flop always with 9 high. So it's probably just because I was rabbiting, and river's just going to be a fold, sadly. I think that's just a butchered hand. Do apologise. Been a good couple of weeks since I've made a video, so do forgive me. Going to raise the 8-9 suited, going to go check call mode with the 10s, or start betting turn if he checks flop. 8-9 suited, I'm just going to bet here, because I obviously have the straight flush draw outs. 10s, like I said, I'm just going to check call. Bad turn card for me there. Ace Jack, yeah, I mean, I'm getting 40-1, I'm just going to call, control sides of the pot, keep it easy. Getting this price with the 10s and a gut shot, again, I'm going to call, and just the fact I might sometimes have the best hand. You know, you could have like ace-10 of diamonds, ace-jack of diamonds, jack-8 of diamonds, hands like that he's betting the turn with. And then river, I think, becomes a fold. Ace-jack, we get raised really small, and a call behind. I mean, again, this is just a call. We are just playing our hand and the odds, and also position. The fact that people could also have draws. Again, this is a spot that just won't happen that often. But this is definitely the correct play. This guy's sizing is just very odd. Like, you know, Queen X of hearts, I guess he could be doing it with. Or, you know, 9-10 of hearts, King 10 of hearts, Ace King of hearts, something like that. So again, I think I have to call, getting almost 7.5-1. I'm probably going to find it very hard to fold. Quick check. I don't think I need to turn my hand into a bluff, so this will be a check from me as well. And we win. Right. Easy money, guys. Floated the flop with king high on table 1. I think that's fairly obvious post-flop. Once I turn a pair, it's just going to be a call again. And river, I will probably find a raise here. I don't expect him to have that big of a hand. I think a raise here looks very suspicious on his side. I might think we just missed the draw, so I'm just going to try and get value by raising. If he ships, I'll fold. But I just basically wanted to look like I had 8-10 of diamonds and trying to buy the pot. And see if he just... You know, I think it's very hard for him to ever fold a queen there. Once I call flop, call turn, and raise big on river. Especially against his sizing. Going to just bet over half pot with my nut flush here. I don't think slow paying's correct in many situations. I think we should just generally be trying to build the pot, especially versus people who like to call a lot. I would say this video has been very post-flop based. I don't think I've like 3 or 4 bet like pre-flop, like much, if at all. I definitely haven't 4 bet. I'm just wondering if I've 3 bet. Which sounds crazy because normally I would have done that a lot. But yeah, lots of post-flop decisions, and again, this is like me just drawing from my experience over the years playing on, you know, sites like Sky and TonyBet, where, you know, I've never had a hood, and also just like my live poker experience, and it's just going off all of that, and hopefully it's giving you guys some food for thought. King Queen I called, even though I know he is short pre-flop, but there was dead money in the middle. I'm you know, calling on my button. It's a strong hand. Post-flop, you know, well, it just plays itself. We just call, and take the money. I don't think that's a gift from him. I mean, he can't really do anything else, but it feels like it was a gift. All in with pocket fours on this table. That's good to see. That's good to see. Wasn't for a full stack, but nice to see people are still punting small pairs. I do apologise for drinking there if it sounds horrible on the mic, but I was getting very dry mouthed. Ace 4 here, I think I'm just going to check. They're calling just way too frequently, so I'd just be like out of position against, 3 people with Ace 4, and I don't like the sound of that. However, now we're post-flop, flop top pair, turn 2 pair, I'm just going to start betting. I'm surprised I didn't get any action there at all. Lots of kings and jacks and flush draws and straight draws and combos or whatever to call, but everyone seems to have missed very heavily and opted to fold. I think I'm up around 10, 20, 25, 30. Around 50 to 60 euros this video. I won that buy-in at 25 and L before, and then been doing very nicely in these 10 and L games. No money's been at risk. It's been very easy. Very easy indeed. Jacks versus Ace Jack all in here for a small amount of money. Little 30% on the river there. Oh, they're running it twice. And they chop it up. Why is running it twice good? Well, it's good in a couple of ways. One, it drives action again. It makes people more likely to gamble because they're like, man, I've got 2 shots. And it is your option to have it on, so some people might think they've got 2 shots and they don't, and so might use, so be careful. But yeah, it makes people just more willing to, punt. And also at the same time, it's just, it controls variance a little for you. You're not risking as much in as many, close equity spots. It doesn't make a difference long term. It all equals out. But short term, it can definitely reduce some variance for you. Doesn't really make much sense now I say it out loud, but that is correct. Okay, just try a little check back here with my King 9. Definitely try and balance between betting and checking. And I think with one of these weaker kings, I can definitely check back even on a wet board. And then what basically just happens is I just call any turn and any river for any amount. And we get him to bomb it at us with a 6-9 off. It's amazing how perfectly all of this is working out. But yeah, that's the whole point of it. Why would we check that flop with a strong hand is what he's thinking, We've probably got a draw is what he's thinking, or we have a hand like jacks or queens, so when that 10 does pair, then yeah, he has a good chance to make us fold. But we have this plan. If we're checking that flop, we're calling any turn and river because we know it makes people bluff because our hand doesn't look strong. So when we can do that, then we can just, print and a good example there, he bet full pot 23 big blinds on the river, and we can just click call very comfortably. King Jack's at a pretty close spot here because of their stack sizes, but I still think it is a squeeze. 6-8 I opened, have a bit of a dummy end of a straight draw, but obviously calling there. And turn will be a fold. King Jack, not exactly happy, but gonna just bet small and fold, but I can definitely rep this board really well, so it makes it a good bet. Here, yeah, we're just going to fold now with the 6-8. Going to set our next big blind and call this a video. As fun as it has been. I'm really not good with my words today. But yeah, there will be another 3 parts to follow, which I'm pretty excited for. And like I say, a few bonus ones at the highest stakes, and we're going to get someone to make a PLO one, and we're going to get someone to make an open-faced Chinese one, which I don't think we've ever had on our site yet, an open-faced Chinese strategy video, or even just a live play to understand how people do what they do. But that should be pretty fun. Looking at the open-faced lobby, pineapple, progressive, deuce to 7 pineapple. They've got plenty of variants, and I think they're the the leaders in open face Chinese online, and stakes per point 2 cents all the way up to €100 a point, which I believe Tony G plays in. Sit and goes, we're talking buy-ins from free rolls all the way up to €100. Tournaments, we're looking at some quite cool ones actually. They've got like a €100 high roller and lots of smaller ones on there, of course. Awesome. So yeah, that's the end of the video. That is part 1 of how to crush the micro stakes on TonyBet. Sorry about how rushed the intro was. I plan to show the lobby a bit more, but I'll do that in my next video. But yeah, basically loads of money to be made, and we will be back. So good luck at the tables, and this was John for PokerVIP.com.